I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together. We've got to move forward, or we're going to lose our country.
Yeah, I think the concern is that weaponization of the Justice Department may well occur under your tenure, and we want to make sure that that's not the case, that you remain independent, that you remain able to and willing to tell the...
Welcome back to American Mindset, the channel where we talk about freedom, justice, and the fight to keep the American dream alive. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and tap the bell so you never miss a video. Today, we're diving into the must-watch exchange between Pam Bondi and Senator Sheldon Whitehouse during her confirmation hearing. And let me tell you, folks, this was a fiery one. Buckle up, and let's watch the video.
Senator.
Senator Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman. Welcome, Ms. Bondi.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for meeting with me. I greatly appreciate that.
It was a pleasure. Ms. Bondi, you were a courtroom prosecutor for a great many years. As a courtroom prosecutor, did you ever have an enemies list?
No, Senator.
And you went on to be Florida's Attorney General. As Florida's Attorney General, did you ever have an enemies list?
No, Senator.
As Florida's Attorney General, you were responsible for hiring into the Florida Department of Attorney General, correct?
Senator, the Attorney General's office in Florida is the third largest in the state, approximately 1,400 employees and approximately 400 lawyers. Only California and Texas are our bigger offices.
And you were responsible
yes.
for hiring into that office while you were Attorney General?
Yes.
Would you
Senator.
have hired someone into the Florida Attorney General's office who you knew had an enemies list?
Senator, to cut to the chase, you're clearly talking about Kash Patel. I don't believe he has an enemies list. He made a quote on TV, which I have not heard. I saw your sign, or Senator Durbin's sign, about Kash. But I know that Kash Patel has had 60 jury trials as a public defender, as a prosecutor. He has great experience in the Intel Department, Department of Defense. I have known Kash, and I believe that Kash is the right person at this time for this job. You'll have the ability to question Mr. Patel.
And I'm questioning you right now
do.
about whether you will enforce an enemies list that he announced publicly on television.
Oh, Senator, I'm sorry. There will never be an enemies list within the Department of Justice.
Thank you. The FBI's, what is the FBI's role in national security and counterterrorism, and how important is that role?
You know, Senator, I believe now more than ever, counterterrorism is so important and vital in our country. We are facing such incredible threats here and abroad. I'm sure many of you saw former FBI Director Wray's interview on 60 Minutes. He talked about the threats that, frankly, again, I don't have my security clearance, but the threats facing us, Senator, from China right now that are so great.
Given
the sleeper cells within our country.
Given that importance, is it responsible to call for shutting down the FBI's counterterrorism and national security work? And will you, as Attorney General, impede or shut down the FBI's counterterrorism and national security work?
Senator,
2 questions.
Senator, I believe that national security is vital right now for our country on so many fronts. I could continue to discuss many others.
And the FBI's role in that?
And the FBI plays a vital role in counterterrorism
which you will or will not shut down.
I will look at each agency. I have no intention of shutting anything down right now, Senator. I am not in that office yet, and if confirmed, I will look at each individual agency and how it should be managed, but counterterrorism right now in our world is vital.
You have said that Department of Justice prosecutors will be prosecuted in the Trump administration. What Department of Justice prosecutors will be prosecuted and why?
I said that on TV. I said prosecutors will be prosecuted, to finish the quote, if bad. Investigators will be investigated. You know, we all take an oath, Senator, to uphold the law. None of us are above the law. Let me give you a really good example of a bad lawyer within the Justice Department, a guy named Smith, who altered a FISA warrant, one of the most important things we can do in this country. So will everyone be held to an equal, fair system of justice if I am the next Attorney General? Absolutely. And no one is above the law.
Under what circumstances will you prosecute journalists for what they write?
I believe in the freedom of speech. Only if anyone commits a crime. It's pretty basic, Senator, with anything, with any victim. And this goes back to my entire career for 18 years as a prosecutor and then 8 years as Florida's Attorney General. You find the facts of the case, you apply the law in good faith, and you treat everyone fairly.
And it would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together. We've got to move forward, or we're going to lose our country.
Yeah, I think the concern is that weaponization of the Justice Department may well occur under your tenure. And we want to make sure that that's not the case, that you remain independent, that you remain able to and willing to tell the president no when that's necessary to protect the Constitution and the integrity of the department. So that's where I'm asking these questions. We talked in the meeting about the contacts policy that has prevailed really since Senator Hatch sat in that chair and demanded it of the Clinton Justice Department through all the administration since then, with the exception of a brief period under Attorney General Gonzalez, which he corrected and which did not end well for him. There has been a contacts policy that limits contacts between the White House and the Department of Justice to a very few senior officials on each side. In your role as Attorney General, if you are confirmed, will you maintain, defend, and enforce that longstanding contacts policy?
Senator, yes, I will meet with White House counsel, and I will meet with the appropriate officials and follow the contacts policy.
My time has expired. Thank you, Ms. Bondi.
Senator Cornyn.
Now, let's get into this. First off, Senator Whitehouse starts with this bizarre fixation on whether Pam Bondi, or anyone she supports, has an enemies list. Really? Is this where we are now? Accusing people of keeping some secret blacklist like this is a dystopian Hollywood script? Listen, folks, Pam Bondi shut that nonsense down immediately. She made it crystal clear. She's never had an enemies list as a prosecutor or as Florida's Attorney General. And this is coming from someone who's worked in the courtroom for years. She's dealt with the worst of the worst, fought for justice, and upheld the law every step of the way. I mean, come on. Do we really think someone like that is compiling enemies lists? Absolutely not. And then we have Kash Patel. Oh, they're really trying to go after him, aren't they? Senator Whitehouse brought up some statement Kash made on TV about an enemies list, and Pam Bondi didn't hesitate for a second to defend him. Let me tell you why this matters. Kash Patel is a guy with 60 jury trials under his belt. He's worked as a public defender, a prosecutor, and in the Department of Defense. He's seen it all, folks, and he's committed to protecting this country. Pam Bondi sees that and knows he's the right person for the job. But what does the left want to do? Tear him down. It's all about smearing people who dare to stand up for freedom and justice. Now, let's talk about the FBI and counterterrorism. Pam Bondi hit the nail on the head here, folks. She talked about how critical the FBI's role is in defending our national security, especially when it comes to threats from China. And let me tell you, the threats she mentioned, like sleeper cells in our country, are very real. But here's what I love. She's not just blindly defending the FBI. She said, I'll evaluate every agency if I'm confirmed. That's the kind of leadership we need. Someone who's willing to hold everyone accountable, even the FBI, but still recognizes the importance of their mission. That's called balance, folks. Now, here's where things got really good. Senator Whitehouse tried to corner her about a statement she made about prosecuting bad prosecutors. And what did she do? She owned it. She said, bad prosecutors will be prosecuted. Bad investigators will be investigated. And she's absolutely right. No one is above the law. She even called out Kevin Kleinsmith, the guy who altered a FISA warrant. That's the kind of accountability we've been begging for in this country. The left loves to talk about justice, but when it comes to holding their own accountable, they just turn a blind eye. And let's not miss her comments about equal justice. Pam Bondi made it clear. She will treat everyone fairly, no matter their political affiliation. But here's the kicker, folks. She also called out the weaponization of the Justice Department against Donald Trump. She said it started back in 2016 with the targeting of his campaign, and it's been nonstop ever since. And she's right. We've all seen it. The endless investigations. The baseless accusations. It's been a witch hunt from day one, and Pam Bondi is saying, enough is enough. She's not going to politicize the DOJ. She's going to bring integrity back to that office. And can we talk about her stance on freedom of the press? Senator Whitehouse tried to push her on whether she'd prosecute journalists, and she shut that down immediately. She said she believes in freedom of speech and would only prosecute if someone commits a crime. Folks, that's exactly how it should be. Freedom of speech is a bedrock principle of this country, and Pam Bondi is standing up for it. Background: montage of American landmarks like the Statue of Liberty and Mount Rushmore. Host. But here's the part that really got me. Pam Bondi talked about how prosecutors should start with a crime and look for a name, not the other way around. That's so important, especially in today's climate. For the last several years, we've seen this weaponization of the justice system, where they start with a name, whether it's Donald Trump or anyone else, and then go digging for a crime. That's not justice, folks. That's tyranny. And Pam Bondi is saying, not on my watch. That's the kind of leadership we need to restore faith in our institutions. And finally, let's talk about the White House contacts policy. Pam Bondi committed to upholding the policy that limits contact between the White House and the DOJ to senior officials only. This is a big deal, folks. It's about maintaining independence and protecting the integrity of the Justice Department. Pam Bondi gets that, and she's ready to defend it. Look, folks, Pam Bondi is exactly the kind of leader we need right now. Someone who's tough, fair, and committed to the rule of law. She's not afraid to hold people accountable. She believes in freedom and justice, and she's ready to stand up to the weaponization of our government. The left may try to tear her down, but we see the truth. And here on American Mindset, we're going to keep fighting for leaders like her who put America first. So what do you think? Do you agree with Pam Bondi's stance on justice and accountability? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to American Mindset. Together, we're going to take this country back. God bless America, and I'll see you in the next video.